Hello, I'm back.
Hello. Okay. So, Carol, now we are live on YouTube. For the next 5 minutes, we're going to admit people. So you can help me to admit at the same time.
Hello, I'm back.
Okay. Okay. So, Carol, now we are live on YouTube. For the next 5 minutes, I'm going to. Today, I'm happy to host just advisor with GG's Capital, one of the 20. There's a problem there.
Mute sound ya YouTube.
Okay. Okay, nimemute. Okay. It's okay. Sasa iko sawa hapo.
So that
Okay.
on YouTube we can see the
Just advisor with GG's Capital, one of the 20. There's a problem there. Ngoja kidogo. Okay. Okay, nimemute. Okay. It's okay. Sasa iko sawa hapo. Okay, we are okay hapo. Carol?
Yeah, is it live? Is YouTube live?
Yeah, it's YouTube live. And Diana?
Lakini no hii
Diana, it's
YouTube.
okay?
Hapo kwenye tumeongea hapo.
No, hakuna shida hapo.
No.
Utakuja kukata usijali.
Please, usifanye kama ile awidu.
Okay, usijali. So, kuna the link, Diana, I've sent you the link. You can share that link. There's the YouTube, there's the Zoom. I'm going to share. Carol, I'm going to send it to you. So we are going to start in the next, at 15. At 15. It's okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Starting in 7 minutes. There's the link I've sent already, the YouTube. Those who want to join, if you have questions, you can ask. Carol, you can help me to admit people. Welcome.
En fait, c'est comme une serviette, là, comme tu colles, là. Après, il y a un truc de caméra qui est blanc et ça affiche. En fait, lui, il est très, très haut et ça...
If you can, kama mnaweza mkatoa sound zenyu, please. Those who have sound. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you.
I'm sharing on the on other platforms. So we are starting at 15, huh?
Okay.
Starting at 15. And Diana will be presenting to us.
Yes.
Up. So Diana atatupatia mazuri ya nyumba. YouTube, Zoom. Separate this. I'm still sharing, huh? Tukingoja. Diana, the next 6 minutes. There's somebody would send me this. We are still waiting. We are starting at 15 in 5 minutes.
We have people on YouTube. People have joined on YouTube.
Okay.
There are people who are watching on YouTube.
Yes,
So-
if you are watching, you have questions, you can start asking. You can write on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, just on the comment side. If you can connect on Zoom, just connect, no problem. We are there, you can ask questions. Okay, let me share also on Facebook. Today we'll be talking about buying land, not land, but buying a house in France, either for personal to stay or just for business. So Diana will be giving us the procedure and talking about what is needed as a Kenyan, what you can buy. So Diana tupatia all the information in the next 4 minutes. Let me share on Kenyans in France at the same time. Okay. Those who have questions, start preparing. After Diana's done some introduction, given us a bit of speech, you can ask your questions. You can also write your questions on YouTube on the section of comments if you have any questions. So, Diana, in the next 2 minutes, we are starting in the next 2 minutes. You can share the information, you can share the link to join if you have friends who might be interested. Join. Welcome, Erimweni. Karibu.
Thank you.
So we are going to start in 2 minutes. Today we have Diana who works with Osana Finance, and she's going to tell us as Kenyans how we can buy our house here in France. Badala ya kuendelea kulipa rent. You can buy your house here in France. It's easy. We have somebody who has the procedures, who has the information, which is needed. So she'll be telling us more about it. If you have any questions, you can do it on the chat. If you are on Zoom, you can also ask your question after the presentation of Diana. Up. So I'll be starting the next 1 minute. Carol, be surveying in case if the other people who are joining on WhatsApp, or not WhatsApp, but Zoom, so that you can admit.
Yeah.
So, welcome everybody, and welcome to our channel, Kenyans in France. We are here to empower Kenyans in France. So today we are having Diana, who works with Osana Finance, and she'll be telling us about how to buy a house in France as a Kenyan, the requirements and the procedures to follow. So if you have any questions and you are on Zoom, just raise your hand or write on the chat, and then we are going to transmit the questions directly to Diana. Or if you are on YouTube, you can also write your questions. You can just make on the comments side, and then will be giving the questions to Diana directly. My co-host is Caro, who I'm always hosting with this kind of sessions to empower Kenyans. So on behalf of everybody, I'm going to welcome Diana to talk, give us some just the global procedures, what is needed, and those who are listening, Zoom, YouTube, go ahead and ask your questions. Start asking your questions if you have questions. Caro will be after helping me to understand these procedures and what is needed after she has done the presentation. Caro, something to say before Diana talks?
We once again, like Noah said, we welcome all of you to this session, listening carefully so that we empower ourselves. Knowledge is power, and see if you can become a homeowner and further be a landlord. Why not? So without taking more of our time, over to Diana to take us through.
Okay. Thank you very much, Carol.
Welcome.
So Diana, we are waiting for you. Huh?
Yes.
Maybe you're trying to share something before. Maybe you can tell people who you are and where you work.
Yes.
And then you can start the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Noah. Thank you, Carol, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share with my fellow Kenyans. Hello, everyone that is on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're connecting from. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you had a good day. It was a sunny day. Myself had a very good day. I had a walk and I enjoyed the sun. So it was a great day for me. And I hope it was a great day for you as well. So I introduce myself. I'm Diana George. I work with Hosanna Finance. Hosanna Finance is a real estate firm. Its mission is to enable its clients to create wealth. We focus on servicing international profiles, expatriates, non-residents, and residents as well. We offer solutions. We offer solutions in 4 major areas. First one being optimization of taxes. For those people who wish to reduce or to eliminate their taxes, we enable them to do this by using the tax incentives for those living in France. Secondly, strategic real estate investment. We accompany those who wish to buy residential or rental property, and this includes the search for the property until they get the keys to their home. Thirdly, through our brokerage services, we help to arrange and to negotiate real estate transactions on behalf of our clients. And fourthly, personal management of finances for those clients who wish to invest, to buy property in real estate, but they cannot because of financial challenges, we accompany them and advise them on how they can use different financial products so that they can be able to achieve the objective of buying a home in France. In the near future, we hope to expand the scope of our activity to include rental management, financial investments, interior design, among other aspects of real estate. The reason as to why I present the company in this way is to show you, or to so that you can know whom you're going to invest with in case you have a project of buying a house in France. And I hope you are ready for tonight's topic, how to buy a house in France. So what do you need to know? So I hope you have a notebook, a glass of water, a cup of coffee, so that you can relax and get to hear what we have to learn this evening. So you're going to start, the topic being how to buy a house in France. The summary of tonight's topic, you're going to look at define your investment objective, buy a used or a brand new house, know your budget, conditions and list of documents, the process of buying a house in France, taxes to be paid, location and search for the property, and what next after you have defined your objective. So without further ado, we are going to look at the first point, which is defining your investment objective. Why is defining your objective important? What is an objective? An objective is a set goal that an investor has to achieve his goal. So defining an investment objective is paramount because it will determine the optimal strategy that you're going to use to achieve your goal or to work on your investment portfolio. So that is why you have to define your investment objective. Why buy a used or a brand new house? And before we go through the list, I'd like us to look at defining the investment objective in a greater way. I'll just highlight a few points because I think it is very important for us to know the objectives that people have or that we might have in real estate. So defining your objective. You can decide to your objective. Your objective could be you want to build equity and wealth. How do you build equity and wealth? As you pay down your property mortgage, you build equity. And as you build equity, you have leverage to buy more properties, therefore create more cash flow, and therefore create wealth. Therefore, building equity is one of the ways that you could define your objective. Secondly, your objective could be to benefit from tax breaks and deductions. Tax breaks and deductions. By investing in real estate, there are several products that you can use to reduce or to eliminate your taxes by using some rental products. For example, in a period of 12 years, you can save up to 63,000 euros. There are products like Pinel that you can use. Of course, this is not the platform to talk about it, but of course, you can call me afterwards and I can explain to you in detail if that is your project. But you can use tax breaks, deductions, laws to benefit from these tax advantages. Number 3, your objective could be to capitalize. And how do you capitalize? There are 2 ways that you can use to capitalize. You can either capitalize by using a life insurance product. In France, we call it assurance vie, and or real estate. By using a product like life insurance, assurance vie, that means you grow your capital for a specific period of time with an objective, for example, to invest in real estate. And you can also use real estate to capitalize. Of course, that means buying several properties to build your capital. Fourthly, your objective could be to have a retirement head start. You're going to retire one day. What are you planning for your retirement? You might find that after retirement, your income has reduced. And so you're not earning the same money that you used to earn when you were young. And so your objective could be to prepare for retirement, to invest in a real estate product, and so that by the time you've retired, you have rental income, for example, and it will facilitate, you'll have an extra coin in your pocket at the end of the month. So it will add to your to the income that you'll have by that time. Another objective could be to have a secondary home. There are several advantages of having a secondary home. For example, you can use it for vacations. You can use it to meet with your friends, to meet with your family. You can use it, you can rent it out so that you benefit from rental income. And so that could be your objective. Sixth one, your objective could be to protect your children. You might find yourself that, okay, today you have kids, they're going to grow up. Eventually, they will go to college, to university, and you'll need to pay their school fees. You will need to continue paying for some of their needs. And so if you wanted to protect your children, you can invest in real estate so that when the children grow up, either you can decide to sell a property or you can benefit from the rental income that you'll be receiving by that time. Then another point is you can decide to buy as a group. You can decide to come together as friends and invest to buy a real estate. One of the ways also to reduce your taxes is also by investing as a group. That one you can see in a later time how to go about that. Another objective could be to buy a brand new home or a used property. I want to precise that buying a brand new home in France, it is not like in Kenya. In Kenya, the property is already constructed and it's ready to be bought. In France, when you're buying a new home, it is bought on a plan, an architectural plan, what we have here. So it is you buy the house, it is not yet constructed, and it will be ready in a year or two. So it is not something that is present today, but it will be there in a year or two. One of the advantages of buying a new home, for example, is benefiting from tax advantages, tax deductions of 20% of the purchase price or 5.5% of the purchase price. You can also benefit from a zero-rate loan known as Prêt à Taux Zéro, PTZ. It is a government initiative actually to help anybody, especially the middle-class people, to buy their residential home. It is only applied for residential property. You cannot benefit from PTZ if you're going to buy a rental, if you want to buy a second home. You can only benefit from this advantage, Prêt à Taux Zéro, this increment if you only want to buy a residential home. And of course, I want to say that the amount that you are given for PTZ is dependent on the area that you buy. For example, in Paris, the department of 77 or 95, or in Paris, the amount of the Prêt à Taux Zéro is not the same. It is also dependent on the family that you have, the number of children that you have. And so it can be from 60 to 80,000 in the new buildings. And this, I want to say again, it is only concerned with the new homes, the new houses. The other benefit of a new home is it complies with a secure and regulated buying procedure. You can have financial guarantee of completion of project. The notary fees, in some cases, are offered. Maintenance and running costs are normally lower. You have lower energy costs. So your objective could be, you want to benefit from what I've highlighted above. So this could be one of the objectives, and it will determine whether you buy a new home or an old home. Note that as far as the new home is concerned, you have to have a deposit. In France, we call it an apport. you have to have a certain amount of deposit that is between 10 to 15%, and this is dependent on the bank. One bank can ask you for 10%, another bank can ask for 15%. So it is good for you to note that. So if your objective also is to buy a used property, then normally people who they will buy used property because they want to renovate the property and then sell it after a couple of years so that they can make a capital gain. The buying process is much quicker and simpler. So some people who want to buy used property because they are already available and they can enter in 3 months or 4 months, the property will be ready for the transfer of ownership of documents, can take just 3 to 6 months, and you're ready to go. Just note that the notary charges for buying used property is between 7 to 8%. You must have this amount if you want to buy a used property. So now that you have gone through the objectives that an investor might have concerning buying a property. Let me go back. I'll just go back in a short while. Yeah, the objective of building your equity and wealth. We're going to look at the next point. The next point is know your budget. Knowing your budget is very important because it will determine what you can be able to buy. What you can be able to buy, for example, like a studio, a 3-bedroom house, 2-bedroom house, 5-bedroom house. It is your budget that will determine that. But how do you calculate that budget? Your budget is mainly concerned with your salary, or if you had an inheritance somewhere and you were given a lot of money, then you can have that amount of money and you can be able to use it as your budget to buy the house. Second thing you have to know is how to calculate your capacity to borrow. Calculating your capacity to borrow is very simple. You can calculate your capacity to borrow as follows. It is 35% of your gross monthly income. And this is inclusive of your salaries, rent from other projects, or any other income that you might receive during the month. That is your income. So it is 35% of what you earn, of your income. For example, a person earning 3,000 euros per month, or having a global income of 3,000 euros, 35% is 1,050. So what it basically means is that the repayment of your loan cannot go beyond 1,050 euros. 1,050 euros. You cannot pay above that. You have to pay below or maximum 1,050 euros. I hope it is clear. Now that you have gone through the budget, let us see the conditions and the list of documents. This is another one that is very, very important. This is another one that is very important as far as buying a house in France is concerned. The first one being proof of your family situation. For example, you want to buy a house in France, you must have a resident card. The French nationality, it is not a must of French nationality, but if you have it, you give your French nationality. Proof of partnership, if you're married, if you're in a tax relationship, then you show the documents that show that you're in a joint partnership, an official joint partnership. I want to say that students that do not have, they have the student resident card. The student resident card, if you're just using the student resident card, you cannot use it to get a loan from the bank. The bank will not accept to loan you because they think you're not in a stable situation because you're here to work. But in the case where you have maybe your parents want to give you cash, if it is 200,000, they give you the 200,000. You can be able to buy your house in France. That means you have to have a support, somebody that will facilitate that transaction. Secondly, documents concerning your income. Talking about short-term contracts, long-term contracts. it is paramount for you to have a CDI or a long-term contract because it shows stability and the bank can have confidence that you're going to repay the loan in case they give it to you. CDD, a short-term contract, but if you're working with the temporary employment agencies, that means the interim here in France. If you've been working at least for 24 months with a short-term, with the interim, then it is possible for you to get a loan from the bank because they see that you're consistent in your work. It is not just a short-term contract of 6 months or 3 months. It is something that is ongoing. Another point is a bank statement. You must provide your bank statement and show how you use your money, and you must not have any overdrafts. In France, we call them découverts. You must make sure that you show the banker that you know how to manage your finances. You're not always asking them to lend you some money, and at the end of the month, you have nothing in your account. Very, very important. Another one is you should provide salary slips. You should have savings. At least, as you have seen, you have to have, even if you pay the notary charges, you must have some savings. You know, in France, we call it apport. You must have some savings, like, a good amount of savings to show that you have been planning to buy a house. And so they can trust you. It is actually one of the ways to show the bank that you're trustworthy, that you're a person who doesn't eat all your money at the end of the month. You always put something aside, even if it's little. It's good to have some savings. Rent receipt, very important, because if you're buying a house in France, they want to know if you live in France. But of course, it does not mean that if you're a non-resident, you cannot buy a house in France. It is very much possible to buy a house in France, even if you're not a resident. But those are other conditions that go along with that. Thirdly, for business owners, if you're a business owner and you've just started your business, the bank will they will not accept to give you a loan because they have not tested to see whether you're consistent in your business activity and if your activity has enough income for that you have generated enough income, because they have not seen you they don't have proof of 3 years maximum or minimum time. So if you are a business owner and you started a business, they cannot give you a loan. But if you're a business owner and you have 3 years income declaration forms that proves that you have been in business for the past 3 years and shows the exact amount that you have been having as your income, then they can give you a loan. Very important for you to note. Now that you have seen the documents that a person should have when they are planning to buy a house in France, we'll go to the process of buying a house. Actually, the process of buying a house in France is not complicated. It is not complicated, it is direct. Once you have defined your investment objective, you know what you want, then the first step to do, you consult an expert, a real estate advisor, to help you manage the process and to know how to go about it. And of course, I want to say even before I go on that learning the terminologies in French is also very important, because we're in France, and when you give you the document will not be in English. So you'll have, as an English speaker, you might find yourself trying to translate every word or to understand what they want to mean. So it is good for you, if you're planning to buy a house, to start familiarizing yourself with what the terminologies that are used in the buying of a house. The first step is to contact a real estate advisor, and then you'll go ahead with the process. You say what you want a brand new house or an old house. And then the first thing, we choose a new house. You are going to sign a preliminary contract once you choose the house, because the house is on contract. Once you choose it, you'll sign a preliminary contract. It's like a reservation of the house that you want. Secondly, you're going to pay the deposit at the notary, and this takes place in about 2 or 3 months. once you've signed the preliminary contract. And then you'll have a cooling off period that is 10 days to make sure that you are decided to go for the project. And so you will find, you'll have time to go back and say you don't want to continue, or you go ahead after the 10 days of the cooling off period. Number 4, signing the contract of documentation. And the documentation is called VEFA. Actually, it's for the housing that is for the housing projects that are yet to be completed. And now you will wait until 1 year or 2 years when they will give you the keys to your property. So very, very important for you to note that it is not complicated. Afterwards, if you have any questions, I will answer them afterwards. Now that you have seen the process of buying a house in France, we are going to look at the taxes related to buying a house here in France. There are taxes to be paid. We start with the first charge, the first tax to be paid will be the notary charges. We call them the frais de notaire. Then when you have paid that and you become a property owner, you're going to pay property tax. We call it taxe foncière. And then if you are going to live in that house, you're going to pay taxe d'habitation, the housing tax. And then you'll also pay, if you have a television, for example, in your house, you pay the audiovisual fee. We call it taxe audiovisuel. So those are the major taxes that you'll pay. And also in the new houses, there are also the charge de propriété. You know, we are Kenyans, so our accent sometimes, we have accent pronouncing some of these words. But those are the charges that are related to the building where you'll have your apartment or you'll have your home. Actually, they're global charges. Now that you have seen the taxes that you pay, let us go to the location. The location is very, very important in your project of real estate. This is because the location will determine the demand, and the location will also determine the appreciation of your property. So if you buy in a place where there are not many, you don't have many people, and for example, it's a rental product, you'll not have clients. You'll have difficulties of finding clients for your rental property. But of course, if you buy in a location where there's high demand, you'll always have clients. You'll always have people who want to rent a house. So very important to consider the location. It is one of the most important factors when you're buying a house. Now that you have seen the location, we'll go to the search of your property. The current project that is taking place is the network project. It is called Le Grand Paris Express. It is a network of the network of transportation that is taking place currently in Ile-de-France, specifically in the Paris region. It is the development of new transportation lines. For example, you have new lines like line 15, line 16, line 17, line 18 that are going to be created. And the advantage of these lines being created is that they will highly develop areas that were not highly advanced. For example, if you look at my screen, there is the area of, look at my screen, you can follow my cursor. These areas where there is the areas like Val de Fontenay, Rony-Bois-Perrier, the areas of Saint-Denis. These are areas that are not very well developed. But because of the new lines, these areas are going to develop. And what it means actually when you have new metro stations is that there will be more people commuting in the area. There will be more businesses that will be opened. There will be more people living in those areas. So there will be increment of demand as far as the housing is concerned. And then you will have a lot of movement in these areas. And this will cause the area to develop in a great way. So actually this project is a game changer for the capital city of France and for Europe as a whole. This also is going to change a lot in terms of transportation of for the people. For example, you see that it follows, it is forming a form of a ring all around Paris. Currently, what has been happening is that, for example, a person who is in Versailles today has sometimes to go, if you want to, for example, to go to the airport, you have to enter into Paris and then change the line, get the train to go to, for example, Aéroport Charles de Gaulle, to go and get the airplane. But with this new project, the timing will be very, very easy to. Sorry about that. There was somebody who was coming in. I had to let them in. What is happening, if you observe well, it is forming a ring with this project, the new lines, the line 15. It is forming a form of a ring. So a person that is in one place, for example, Nanterre, they want to go to the airport. They don't have to take, the time to go to the airport will be less. If the person is taking 30 minutes or 45 minutes, the person is taking 1 hour or 1.5, the time will be reduced drastically because of the new lines. That is, it is a social and economic development project that is really going to change the view of Grand Paris and how it is seen and how it is viewed, and it is really going to make the development will really develop. The development will really be great in these areas. So we'll go to, now that you have looked for the search for your property, I want to say that we have a lot of projects. We have a lot of houses in Paris, the regions, in all these regions, we have a lot of properties as residential homes or as rental properties. So contact us if you want to buy a house in this area. We also have houses all over France, in the new build and in the old build. So do not hesitate if you have a project of investment to contact me so that we can see together your investment objective and I can help you in the search for the property until you get the keys to your home. Let's go to the next part. So we're almost coming to the end of this presentation. And so if you have any questions, please continue to write them down or to note them in the chat. In the Zoom part, there's a small chat, or in the YouTube, there is a place to make comments, and so that I can answer your questions. To contact us, or to contact me, I've given my details on the screen. Contact at hosanafinance.com, Diana George at romando@gmail.com. You have the office line and my telephone number on your screen. You can take a screenshot so that you can have the information with you just in case you need more information. And of course, I ask you also if you know of people that want to invest. If you know people that want to invest in rental products, or a person who wants to buy in a residential property, let me know. I will advise them accordingly, according to their objective. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your patience. It is a pleasure to be with you this evening. You know, we have not been able to meet the past year because of the sanitary conditions, but we can meet very soon, hopefully this year or next year, where we can have time to eat our barbecue, our nyama choma, as you normally call it in Kenya. And I'll have an opportunity to meet with most of you so that we can discuss, we can know each other better. And maybe, Mr. Noah, you'll organize maybe lunch or a dinner date with us, with many of us, so that we can come together, so that we can get to know each other more and exchange about our careers, what you're doing, and that would be very, very wonderful for us. Mr. Noah,
Okay.
I want to give you the opportunity to ask any questions if you have received them.
Okay, so thank you, Diana, for your presentation. And for those who came late, just to remind you, we had invited Diana to talk about how to buy your house here in France as a Kenyan. Also as a Kenyan back in Kenya, because they are the same conditions. And she's there to advise you if you need her help. So now we go to question answer. If you have any question, you are on Zoom, just raise your hand, and Caro is there to spot you and ask the question. We'll give you the opportunity to ask the question. If you are on, you can also ask on through the chat. If you are on YouTube, you can ask through the chat. I can see there are many questions. I think, Caro, you have gone through some questions, maybe for Diana.
Yeah, there is a question on YouTube. Rachel is asking, what are the best banks to approach for a mortgage?
Sorry?
What are the best
I didn't
banks?
get you.
Which banks?
Okay, what are the best banks? Okay, the best banks. The best banks, of course, if you're living in France and you have a bank account here in France, you can go to your bank. So if you're here, go to your bank. But if you are a non-resident, there are specific banks that you need to go to that only lend to non-residents. But if you're living here already in France, then you can go to your bank. If your bank does not accept to give you the loan, for example, we had a client last time who went to La Société Générale. They didn't want to give her the loan. She changed the bank and she went to Crédit Agricole and she was given the loan. So you can try already with your bank. And if it doesn't work, you go to another bank and tell them you need a loan with your situation, with your conditions, with your file, and then they're going to tell you whether they're going to give you a loan.
Okay.
I hope the answer is clear.
Do you have any examples of the best banks to go to?
You can go
that probably will give loans. That will probably give loans to you if you're not a resident.
If you're not a resident, and you, for example, if you're a non-resident, you can go to BNP Paribas. You can go to Crédit Agricole. They can give you a loan. You can go to LCL. You can also go to but don't go to La Poste. La Poste, La Poste, they don't like giving loans even to residents. They are very hesitant in giving loans. But other banks normally they are able to give loans. But normally, but as a non-resident, BNP they give loans to non-residents. LCL, Crédit Agricole, they can give you loans.
Those are the traditional banks.
Traditional banks, yes.
Yeah. Another question, maybe there's GChem is asking, is Hosanna Finance based in France?
Hosanna Finance is based in France. It is based in Paris. We are in the 17th district, Metro Line 3. We are based in Paris. If you want to visit us, you can come to the office. You'll find us here. And we have you can find us on in internet. We are in Facebook. We are in LinkedIn, and we are in Instagram. And we have our addresses noted on those platforms.
Okay.
Another question from you, maybe.
Another question. Do you need an APO for a used property as well?
Yes, you need to have an APO. You need to have a deposit for an APO. You need to have a deposit. And that is on top of having notary charges and the frais de dossier, the file charges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question. I have another question from Kim. Is asking, is it cheaper buying a used house or a new one? Is it cheaper to buy a used house or a new one?
It depends. It depends on where you buy it and what kind of house you're buying. If, for example, you just want an apartment, and there are many factors to be considered. I would say it might be cheaper if you're going to buy a rental apartment in the Department of 93, as people that are in Ile-de-France. You can buy a cheaper apartment, then you renovate it, and then that way you can be able to sell it at a higher price. It is cheaper, but it depends with the area where you buy it. It depends with what you're buying. Because if you're buying an individual home, for example, with 5 rooms, with 5 bedrooms, you can pay up to 250 euros, and it's still in the old build. So it depends on where you're buying.
Okay, maybe you can remove your
yes,
your presentation.
Okay.
You can stop your presentation. Carol, you have other questions? There are more questions on YouTube. Bado zinaingia. So Carol, from your side.
Yes.
Carol, from your side.
There is another question here.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone is asking, could you please tell us, okay. Someone is asking, are you a real estate agent?
I'm a real estate advisor.
Okay.
I'm a real estate advisor. My work is to advise on which real estate product is best for you, depending on your situation.
Okay.
And I can also help you find the property that you need. That is my work.
Okay. And someone, could you please tell us more about Hosanna Finance?
Hosanna Finance is a real estate firm that is based on 5 years experience in real estate and in banking. Hosanna Finance is here to help non-residents, expatriates, and residents as well. And you have our site. We talk about what we do. We are a wealth management firm, and the work that we do is concerned with tax optimization. As I had said earlier, I don't know whether the person was here in the beginning, but I'll just say it again. Maybe the person was not here. So our work mainly consists of tax optimization, enabling those clients who wish to reduce or to eliminate their taxes by using the tax incentives for those living in France. Secondly, through our strategic real estate services, we enable our clients to find residential or rental properties in Paris and all over France. That is the second thing. And thirdly, our work also includes to facilitate, to enable and to organize or to arrange real estate transactions on behalf of our clients. And this includes negotiating the interest rate for the loan on behalf of our clients. And fourthly, as I said, personal management of finances. We accompany those people who wish to invest in real estate, but they cannot because of financial challenges. We enable them we advise them on how they can use financial saving products so that they can build their savings with a view in mind of buying a property in France in the long term. Another question? Yes, I'm very eager to answer questions this evening.
Carol, from your side, as you search, maybe I can read from Rachel.
Do you need?
Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah. Do you need guarantors if it's or non-residents? And the second question, do you as Hosanna Finance give loans or do insurance?
The first question was, do
you need guarantors?
Guarantors, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And if yes, residents or non-residents?
Okay. My colleague is here to answer the first question. Yes. My colleague wants to answer. She wants to answer the question.
Okay. Alors, oui, bonsoir à tous et merci d'être là. Alors, moi, je parle pas couramment anglais. À ce moment-là, je vais répondre en français et Diana se chargera de traduire en anglais. Donc, quelle est la question?
Si on a besoin d'avoir un garant pour les non-résidents.
Un garant? Dans le cadre d'un crédit?
Oui, dans le cadre d'un crédit, pour pouvoir acheter en France.
Alors, lorsqu'on parle de la location, lorsqu'on parle de la location, on cherche un appartement en location, on demande des garants, c'est vrai. Le garant, il peut être à l'étranger, mais à ce moment-là, il faudra prouver les ressources. Mais lorsqu'on parle d'achat immobilier, d'acquisition immobilière, il n'y a pas de notion de garant. Donc, lorsqu'on va voir la banque pour demander un crédit, la banque va plutôt demander si on a les finances, si on a un contrat de travail, en CDI, en CDD, quel est le salaire qu'on gagne. La banque va prendre en compte les charges qu'on supporte. Est-ce qu'on a déjà des crédits en cours ou pas? Et surtout, la banque va demander ce qu'on appelle un apport. L'apport, c'est l'argent liquide que vous allez apporter de votre poche pour compléter avec le crédit bancaire afin de financer l'achat du nouveau bien. Donc, est-ce que ça répond à la question?
Oui, ça répond.
Ça répond à la question.
Ah, d'accord. Approche-toi.
Si tu peux traduire. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe Diana, you can just brief on what, because I think those are the information you had given before, just to go it through fast, so that, because I think the guarantor side, it will concern only the banks, not you as Osana Finance, if I'm not wrong.
Not even for the bank.
From your side,
Yes. Sorry?
Because the question, the way it is, it's do you as Osana Finance, do you need guarantors?
No, we don't need guarantors.
You don't need guarantors. It's only the bank who will ask you such questions for non-residents.
Yeah, but you also have to prove the source of that money. You have to prove the source.
Okay, if you are a foreigner, that is.
Yes. Yes.
So it means if somebody in Kenya wants to buy in France, he must prove where he got that money from to buy a house here in France. But if you are in France, you don't need, because you're going to show your pay slips, you are going to show your tax returns, all this information they asked before.
Yes, the list of documents.
After the things. Yeah, I think the answer is if you are in Kenya and you want to buy in France, yes, you can buy, and you have to prove where you get that money from. I think that the French government is doing that to avoid blanchiment d'argent, money from outside, which we don't know where it comes from. And then if you are here in France, you just need to show your payslip, which means that the money you'll be refunding, the money you have comes from your salary.
That's
okay.
It.
Okay.
Perfect.
Another question? Unless I think it's answered. If it's not answered, you can unaweza ukaongeza ulize tena hapo. Caro, go ahead and give us another question, please.
Okay, there is this question. What happened to my chat? Okay, yeah. Do you as Hosanna Finance give loans, or do you do insurance?
No, we don't give loans because we are not a bank. We accompany those who wish to buy the houses, and through our brokerage services, we can introduce the file. We introduce the file to the bank, which is going to give the loan.
Okay.
Yes, but us ourselves, we don't give loan.
Okay, and you don't do insurance either.
Assurance. What we do, we can offer an accompaniment to open a life insurance account.
Okay.
Life insurance account, Assurance V. That is Assurance V. If you want to open it, you can come to us and we can help you open that account.
Okay. Then someone is also asking,
yes,
are you able to help homeowners who already have bought homes to reduce the interest rates that they had already been given?
Ma collègue voulait répondre à cette question. Si les personnes qui ont déjà des résidences principales pour réduire les taux d'intérêt pour le crédit qu'ils ont déjà.
Je pense que c'est la négociation, de négocier, en fait, de renégocier parce que par exemple, si on prend un crédit, par exemple, on est à 2,2 et vous renégociez le taux de crédit. Est-ce que vous aidez à faire ça?
Oui, on peut aider à faire ça. On peut aider à faire ça dans la mesure où on travaille avec un réseau de courtiers qui sont partenaires. Donc, nous, on va vous mettre en relation avec ces courtiers-là et on va suivre votre dossier et peut-être même vous arranger des frais de courtage négociés. Voilà. On ne le fait pas en direct, mais on accompagne, on vous met en relation avec les bonnes personnes qui peuvent vous aider à renégocier le crédit.
So the answer there is yes. They just link you with partners who can help you to negotiate your interest rates. To renegotiate your interest rates. There's a question from Kim at the same time. Huh? Okay, go ahead.
Ask no.
Okay, from Kim is asking, what is your advice regarding buying from PAP owner to the buyer purchase? I think when he's talking about PAP is person particular. Maybe Kim, I think I saw you are in the chat. You can ask your question directly. It will be more. I'm going to give you the chance to ask it. I'm going to unmute you. Maybe you can ask that question. If you're okay, Kim, you can unmute. Maybe you can ask the question. What is the advice do you give regarding buying from particular owner to the buyer purchase? Okay, I'm going to unmute Kim. So that...
particulier.
Quel conseil on donne dans le cas des personnes qui achètent de particulier à particulier?
Oui, acheter
particulier à particulier.
PAP.
Kim, you can unmute. Maybe you can ask your question, please.
Yes, Noah.
Yes.
Yes. It's that like buying from the homeowner to, like I buy directly from the homeowner without going through the agence or that process. What is the Diana's advice? Thank you.
My advice is you should be very careful if you want to buy a house directly by yourself, because there is importance of being accompanied by an expert because of checking whether there are any bad conditions that a house could be having, because there are houses that look very beautiful when you go to visit them, but they have hidden cracks, they have some hidden things behind them. So you have to be very conscious of that. If you don't have the knowledge of how to check and see those hidden damages, then you're going to go at a very bad loss. This is because the owners try sometimes to make it look beautiful so that you can be attracted by the property. But once you start living in that property, you will start finding that there are many challenges of living in that house, and you might eventually have to renovate it, use a lot of money than you would have used if you had consulted an expert and they check it for you, and then you buy a product that is in good condition. So you should be careful about that. Unless you have the knowledge, it is better to pass by an advisor.
Okay, maybe just to confirm on what you have said, I think also buying from if you buy directly from the owner, in case of anything, you cannot. It will be very hard for you to turn against the owner. But if you buy from an agency, if there is anything which is wrong, you can turn. Even I think the agency, they are the ones who who are going to help you to do some if you need to file a case against the owner. If they are in other words, the agencies, they are responsible of what they are selling to you. Diana, if you can be on the middle of the screen because tunakupoteza kabisa.
kabisa.
Tunakupoteza kabisa.
We were sharing the screen. We were sharing the screen with my colleague.
Sijui kama your answer is answered, Kim.
Yes, it's well answered. Thank you.
Okay, Carol, go ahead if you have another question.
Diana, the question on CDD.
Yes.
If someone has a CDD, a short CDD, is it possible for them to go to the bank and get a loan big enough to buy a house?
It will be quite difficult.
Without that does not guarantee they'll be able to pay in the long term. Or how
it is
does
going
it
to
work?
It will be difficult. It will be difficult unless you're working with the interim. The interims that are here, they give short contracts, but if they give consistent contracts for a year, the second year, third year, it is possible for you to get a loan because the bank will see that you're stable, you have consistent work, and you don't keep on moving from one company to another by having very short contracts. So the key here is consistency. You can have a CDD, a short contract, but it should be consistent in terms of work, and it should be so that the bank can give you the loan. Otherwise,
and then and then for houses, how many houses can one own, or there is no limit?
You can have as many houses as you want, as long as you have the capacity to buy them.
Okay.
Yes. You can have 100 or more.
Okay.
A question from
now another question is no.
Okay, after I'll give you the chance. There is Celestine Sakwa is asking if I want to buy a home with cash, from who am I supposed to justify where I got the money from? I think this is for non-residents. Even I think that applies even for those who are residents, because in France it's very, very difficult to get somebody paying cash. Maybe you can answer that as a specialist. To who should you prove where you got that money from if you want to pay cash?
Yeah. The work of the notary actually is to verify the source of your income. They have to verify that source. So you have to prove where you got that money from. What is your source? Because if you're not in business, if you don't have a salary slip, where is this money coming from? Who gave it to you? So that is the work of the notary, to verify the source of your income.
So you want to say, if I have, for example, 100,000 and I want to buy a house of 100,000, the notary will tell me, where did you get this money from?
And they have to ask you where you got the money from. But if you have
I'm not working, I'm not working, but I have that money.
You are not working, you don't have a work contract, you don't have, they can't see, they look at your account, they don't see where you can get that money from. They're going to ask you questions. Because remember that when you go to introduce your file to the bank, they look at it to see how you use your money, how much money enters into your bank, and the source of that money. And that happens consistently. Even right now, they are still verifying our accounts. Anyone that is in France that has a bank account, they always verify how people are using their money. They don't tell us, but they verify where the source of money.
Sure.
Where your money is going. When you transfer it, they want to know where that money is going. Even if you make an international transfer, they check where that money is going. That's why when you send money by WhatsApp, or they ask you, what is this money for? Because when it arrives in Kenya, they want to know this money came because of this. So if you're in France and you have 200 or 300,000 and you're not working, you don't have a business, you can't prove the source of this income, then even with that money, they can still invest. Yes.
You become a suspect.
Why I'm saying this is because people sell drugs. They sell drugs and
Yeah.
people sell drugs. And you can sell drugs and have money. Even you can have 300,000 in a day because you're selling drugs and you're doing some fishy things. But if you are clean and you have 200,000, 300,000 euros cash, then you should be in a position to prove the source of that income.
Okay, Carol, another question.
Or your friend gave it to you, then you're going to tell that it will show in the account that 300,000 came from a friend's account into your account, So they will verify, even if you don't tell them, they will verify your accounts.
Okay, I think it's answered. Carol, another question.
Okay, which suburbs in Ile-de-France or which arrondissement in Paris would you advise someone to buy a home?
I can advise you to buy in the areas that are, but also it depends with the wish and the desire of a person. But if I was to be asked, I'll consider the region of Ile-de-France. Why? Because of the, as I said earlier, the major transportation networks that will take place. And this is going to make sure that if, for example, you buy a rental property in Ile-de-France, that property will appreciate in value in the next few years, as opposed to buying a property very far off where there are not many people that are living in that area. So actually buying of your property, it will, if you want to buy a property, it is your objective that will determine where you want to buy your property. If you want a residential home, you want to be in a river, close to the sea, you can, you can go and buy in a faraway place. But if your plan is to rent it out, sell your property in the next few years, then it is better to buy a property where there is high population. In Ile-de-France, there is high population. All the departments of Ile-de-France, there is high population. So I would tell a person to consider buying their property in a highly populated area because of the objective of making a capital gain in the next few years when they sell the property, or having clients, having tenants for their property. So it is dependent on the objective of a person. But Ile-de-France, buying in Paris and the areas that are surrounding, those are very good areas to buy your property.
Okay, now I'm going to give you a scenario, and then give us, assuming my account, I use all the money for my expenses, and I can only manage to save like 200 euros per month, and I want to own a home. What would you advise me to do?
That means you have a salary. Do you have a salary in this case?
Yes, I have a salary.
But you use everything and you're only left with 200 euros per month.
Yeah, because the money maybe I'm earning is not a lot, because most people, the money they get probably is not a lot. I'm giving a case scenario.
Yes.
And you are living in a rental where probably you're paying rent for 700 euros. And in the account, you're only able to save 200, as in once you remove all the necessary expenses, you can only manage 200 euros. And you want to own a home. What would you advise me to do so that I'm able to own a home and stop paying 700 euros rent?
The first thing that I would advise you is to get a cheaper home. If it is possible for you to get a cheaper home, instead of paying 700 euros, go to a 500 euros house, so that you can save the extra money, the 200 euros. It is also you can add to your savings, and you have 400 euros that you save every month, which is good enough. And so for a person who has this kind of an issue, the other thing is to open a saving product consistently. You give an order to the bank so that if you can be able to, first of all, you have been able to rent a cheaper house. If that is it, the next thing is to have a saving product and make regular deposits in this account. And one of the ways to make regular deposits, you can sign a mandate with the bank, an order with the bank, and the bank will deduct this money each month consistently, so that you don't use all your money just like that. Because actually, it is by principle that sometimes when you see the money, you just feel like using it. You just feel like using that money. But when you don't see it, you don't use it. So if this money goes directly into your account, once you receive your salary, they remove the 200 euros or the 400 euros and put it in a saving product. That is going to help you in a great way. Then what kind of a saving product? The saving product, I would advise, it is called life insurance. That is assurance vie. This product is good because you can save your money over a period of 8 years and minimum. And in this period of 8 years, your capital is going to grow. And afterwards, you're not going to have any taxation on that money. And that way you'll have grown your capital. And after that period of time, you can be able to invest. You can be able to buy a property. Another thing I'll tell the person is that consider doing a training, formation, to increase the chances of having a better paying job. There's so many formation. Get another training. It will increase your resources and you'll be able to save more. Indeed, paying 700 euros in France is a lot because that is equivalent to the money that you also could be paying to repay your loan. So why pay 700 euros for your rent and you can own a property and repay your loan with that 700 euros?
Exactly.
It's actually a wastage of money.
Yeah, 700 plus that.
It's a lot.
200, that's 900, which is enough to pay for a house.
Exactly, that's it.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we have run out of time. We have gone beyond our time. But
Yes.
Diana has given us her contacts so that we can be able to have a one-on-one with her. You can call her. I think she's available anytime you want to hear from her. You want to ask questions. Diana is available. She wants to help us. She's a Kenyan, so she's available to help us to be able to invest well so that we are not paying rent, whereas we could be owning homes, which is very, very important because the rent you're paying, just know you're losing that money. But if you own a home, even though 10 years down the line you change your mind and decide you want to move back to Kenya, you will sell that house, get back your money, the bank pays the rest, and you take your money and you go and buy your home in Kenya. So Kenya, tuchanuke. Let's let's get this awareness that every rent you're paying, just know that money, it's not going to waste because you're living there, but you could profit more if you owned an apartment or you owned a home, because eventually you can still resell it, get back your money, and the rest, the other money that they'll get from the house, they pay back the balance to the bank. So you end up, it's like you lived for free when you sell it. So your home somewhere else. So kindly, let's Diana, you can probably put up the screen once again with your contacts. Kindly put her contacts.
With your
you
phone
can always
number.
come back. You can always go back to the our YouTube channel, and this video will be there. You can rewatch it. You can get the contacts there so that you're able to contact Diana. So once again, we thank each one of you for making time to join us. Thank you, Diana, for reaching out to us to be able to do this session. And we hope to have many more sessions. Over to you, Noah.
Okay, so thank you, Diana. Like Carol said, I think it's a good time to empower Kenyans, those who are living here, instead of continuing paying rent. If you can own your house, that is good. And Diana is there to help you to make the right choices and to accompany you if need be. So those who have questions, you can still continue asking. And on our YouTube channel, Diana, I propose you go back to the YouTube channel later and answer all the questions. You can still continue asking questions on the YouTube channel, and Diana will be answering all your questions from there. Maybe Diana, okay, now Diana has put the phone number, you can see, and his email address at the same time. Also, this information, you can get it on our website, kifaransa.fr. You can get these contacts from Diana from there at the same time. So thank you, Diana. Thank you for those who have joined, and hope we'll continue empowering Kenyans more and more. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope we'll come back with something interesting next time also, like this one, to empower Kenyans. There's another question which might bring maybe future discussion, is about buying property for investment. So I think the person who has asked Jesse, yeah, maybe next time we'll talk about investing in France as a Kenyan in property, because that one for today it was just for our residential home. So next time maybe I hope Diana will be available to give us more.
I'm very available for the next meeting. Yes.
Yeah, we can discuss on investment, doing investment, and how we can invest in housing here in France, because like we are saying, we are here maybe to stay. Kama tutakuja kurudi nyumbani, maybe we are here maybe to stay. So if we should also think of investing here. If you're investing in Kenya, let's also invest here, because we are here for our kids also. We don't know whether they'll go back to Kenya or not. So if we can invest for them here, it is good. It will be good. So thank you, Diana, and everybody who joined on Zoom and on YouTube. So those who are, you can share your this information with your friends to get more updates when we'll be having other things. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Kenyan Diaspora Channel France, for more good things coming. So thank you very much, everybody.
And also,
good night.
Also on Facebook.
And also on Facebook. Also you can get all the information on Facebook. So thank you very much. And I hope next time we'll be bringing something also interesting for you. If you are here in this group, or even in YouTube, you have also something, doing something for Kenyans, also you can contact us at kifaransa@free.fr. We can also try to see how we can empower Kenyans. If you have an activity that can empower Kenyans, we are ready to listen to you. We are ready to offer our platform for you to discuss with other Kenyans to empower them. So don't hesitate to contact us, and we'll be there to promote everybody. Thank you very much. Wow. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye
Thank you. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.